The fact is, we are here in Rio, which is insane because I seem to be bumping into you at the most random. I mean, Cancun,
That's
Rio.
right. Yeah.
Why have you brought me here this time, Jesse?
We've actually brought you here to tell you that you've won. You've won this trip to Rio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and you've just redeemed it.
Yes.
So you've actually now lost. Well, yeah, we're here, to talk about this movie Rio, and they did such a lovely thing by having the world premiere here. The movie is produced by the Fox Corporation, and they said last night that this is the Fox's first world premiere here in 85 years. So it's kind of a really special thing for this movie, more importantly for the people of the city who feel like this movie is depicting their city in a really accurate and very wonderful way.
You've done some really cool things while you've been here. I don't know if you can talk about that, because you spent some time, other than promoting the film, you've done other stuff while you're here.
Yeah, I always like to I like to travel a lot, and so when I'm working on a movie, either on location, on a set location, or promoting a movie somewhere, I always like to build in a few extra days. So here we went on 2-hour hike in this wonderful city of Terrasopolis, which was affected by these landslides. So it's great to go see how the city is recovering. And we went to in one of the communities here called Santa Marta, which is just they just live in such a unique way, but a really kind of felt like a really special community. Yeah, and I like seeing things that both tourists see, and then if possible to see something that maybe a local would only see.
Have you been to Brazil before, or is this your first time?
I was on the border of Brazil like 5 years ago, and then we wanted to go in, but Brazil requires a visa, which I didn't realize, and we were in Venezuela, so we were on the northern border, and then so I decided I should maybe get into a movie about Brazil so that I can do it all the legal way. Have this corporation pay for my tickets.
Smart.
Yes,
that's kind
a
of
movie in 85 years.
To be able to do a voice. That's kind of. I mean, did you notice over time that the images started to look more and more like you, or like was it one of those things where were you prepared for kind of what you had to encounter as a voice artist as opposed to an actor?
No, I mean when I'm really using my voice in the movie with subtle differences and with kind of like subtle character effects, I would say. So there's kind of, the character maybe is a little sweeter and a little more, sympathetic. So I'm trying to kind of become inspired by the images that I see of the character, so that, he's a little softer in this scene because he looks a little softer, or maybe he's a little harsh in this scene because he's kind of running in this harsh way, or you see his beak is maybe angled at a sharper dimension, so you kind of try to put your voice into that. Whether or not it comes across is not, up for me to decide, but that was my goal.
I find it fascinating that you were doing this during the weekends while you were shooting Social Network. That's insane. I mean, how do you kind of like go between the two?
Well, when I was filming the Social Network, the character was so rigid and intense and severe that I found on my weekends I was very unhappy. I was so thrilled to do that movie, but I also discovered that I couldn't get out of that mindset of feeling, this character's in this legal battle who doesn't have so much happiness, feels very lonely. And then when I got the opportunity to do this wonderful animated movie on the weekends, it just brightened my days. Because I was still performing, which is what I like to do, but in an entirely new way, in a fun way. I could improvise jokes, and when you're working with Aaron Sorkin and David Fincher, you don't change a word, and there are very few jokes. And so, well, not with Aaron Sorkin, but just the movie is so dramatic that this was kind of a nice relief in a way on the weekends.
I just have to request, the next time I'm going to talk to you, you should be in an animated film called Hong Kong or something like that, so therefore we can do this on my home turf, and I can take you around and do all that kind of crazy
That would be so great. I'd love to go back.
Brilliant. Nice talking to you again.
You
See
too.
you around the world.
Okay, yeah.